Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Retrocast. First of all, big thank you to Rangru for providing me with literally, I don't know, over 200 replays, 300 replays, a massive shit ton of replays from 2014, 2015. I asked around so many people and none of them had any replays left, but Rangru had a shit ton left. He even sent me some Airland Battle replays. So if you're interested, and want to see someone who has no clue about Allen Battle Balance because he was trash at that game, go over Allen Battle Replay. I guess I can do that too for once, or like one or two times or something. But yeah, this replay is I think from the 21st of April, just a very few days after Red Dragon's release, so after beta. I believe it's not possible to load beta replays, unfortunately, because those files, unless I'm wrong, are not downloaded when you're installing Wargame. So that is unfortunate. But here we are on Korea Rocks in the 4v4 with 8 players that I have no idea who they are. I don't know how good they are or how good they were because, so shortly after the Dragon's release, it's a lot of people still don't fully really understand the meta, if there even is a meta. I myself back then was a noob, of course. I only really started getting good at Red Dragon in like late 14, early 2015, something along those lines. Also, you might notice background. You hear that, like the SFX? That's usually not normal in replays, is it? And you can also see, I can click on like these pings. There are no pings appearing, but this, clearly the clearly the. Oh, and if I pause the background sound, it goes away. Interesting. And clearly the replay, the replayer, the Wargame replay system had some bugs. And if I, the apparently the hotkey for the Windows, for the attack marker is the Windows key. So that is cool. Can I? There we go. Okay, so what do we have? We have, looks like Commonwealth. Cuba with good optics, very interesting. We have USA. We have, let's see. Let's just go player by player, shall we? Jack Spartan, what are you playing? You're playing US. Let's look at this queue. 50 points just as now, but only good optics. Very interesting. We have Lord 13. By the way, NORAD, of course, was not a thing yet. NORAD, as well as Landjut and Soviet Korean Alliance, which doesn't exist anymore, got added with the Scandinavia DLC. If I'm not wrong, we have, looks like France to me. We have Master of Cybertron playing either ANZAC or Commonwealth. If I had to guess, it looks like Commonwealth. And if I had to guess, oh, what I hear? Not a lot of ground units, so unless it's low income, you might start with a plane or two. We might see the old F111C. Oh baby. We have Command Fish playing Scandinavia. Scandinavia without the 90s units, so you don't see Falski Mega 90. You don't see the STRV 103D. You don't see the STRV 121, and also not a lot of planes. You don't see automatic, no LVKB 90, no Beacon 1C, etc. But the FSK, I don't know about Falski Mega, but the FSK had the Erics back then already. We have Soviets from Baron Smash. I'll go over individual units a bit later because that is what interests me personally the most. We have North Korea from Airlando Bloom, another Soviet deck from Gray, and a third Soviet deck, looks like, from Fire on Ice. Alright, let's take a look at some. Okay, there we go. Phantoms on Veteran. It's actually not too bad. I think I is still on Veteran, but for 110 points, at least these days, it is pretty underwhelming. F-16 Block 52 on Rookie. Also not the range on the missiles, especially long range missiles. Just 6,300. Also a Rookie MiG-29 912B, more or less similar again, but accuracy and again range on both missiles, but also accuracy on the R-27Ts significantly lower than this now. I think one of those is even semi-active, the 27T nowadays. Probably gonna get killed, yep, without even hitting anything. Also, oh, there's a lot of planes. Not a down-vetted F-16 that's still in the game with the same missiles, just of course some different stats. Honestly, the most annoying thing is if you load an older replay, it takes the default hotkeys, so I have to use the I key to identify units. What do I have here? 10 points, track transport. Okay, that is cool. I don't know if the Chinook is still 25 or it's 20 these days. Heat things, we know these. D72B1, 100 points, 18 AP, 15 front armor, 7 RPM. Pretty bad accuracy. And keep in mind, at this point in Wargame's time, autoloaders weren't a thing yet, right? So that is something that you have to. There was 7 RPM, and if that shit was panicked, yeah, good luck. And supposedly, I don't remember who said that. Yesterday, someone told me that. I can't tell you if that's right or wrong, but supposedly, the effect of being panicked had an even bigger negative effect on the reload time and such. I don't even know. What is this now? Is this now 20 points or 25 points these days? Where's Oh yeah, that's completely different. I'm pretty sure you don't have this spawn here anymore. And this zone, I'm pretty sure also doesn't exist anymore. I'm pretty sure the map is somewhat different, right? I'm like so certain this doesn't exist anymore. But also I just don't play this map very often. There we go. 1 per card. 160 points, 8 20 HE bombs. Look at this one-way ticket in action. Maybe it's not a one-way ticket this time around. Just look at that payload, dude. Akula in action. It's being panicked. I don't know what got panicked by. Probably those planes. That F-16. MI8. Look at all those 1 HE rocket pods. There's a Pongaze opening fire. And the Book M1. Basically unchanged, although the speed is slower on the missiles. And 124A. Oh yeah, another thing. Helicopter ATGMs had no stabilizers. Or at least not all of them. The Akula clearly did. The Akula also had more range on its AT missiles. But most didn't. Noah. Tau Slinger. What's happening down here? Push, T64BV1. Also more or less unchanged, at least when it comes to AP. But 10 RPM. John Maho 4, 6 RPM. John Maho 5, of course, was only added very, very late in the game. Leclerc, 12 RPM. Not autoloaded. Autoloaded, I'm pretty sure. But so they're just gonna get wrecked. MX13, you can see the 19 RPM here. I'm wondering, maybe the Harpoon had like the semi-autoloader already. I don't know if that was in place, but like the autoloaders on T72s, etc., were not existent back then. Vigan, oh, that's the AT Vigan. Still I'm pretty sure this is basically unchanged. Maybe the AA anti-air missiles are changed, but it's still 100 points. It still has this garbage 2 on rookie availability and 1 on veteran. And has these 40% 26 AP missiles, which are probably just the AGM 56 AGM 65B Maverick, just with a Swedish name. This one also is unchanged, except for the fact that it's now not just 100 points. Imagine this. I mean, it wouldn't be ridiculous because that plane being so slow, it is easier to evade. But it would still be crazy if this was 100 points today. M1 IP. Again, 10 RPM. Leopard 2 also, the Leopard 2 line also 10 RPM. The M1 Abrams line, 10 RPM. All the T-72s had 7 RPM, so the T-72BU also had 7 RPM. T-80s had 10. Also, all anti-tank weapons were the infantry, 10-man infantry AT weapons, right? Like Carl Gustavs and RPGs, had either 525 meter range or 875 meter. There was no in between with like 700 meter that you have these days, right? Chaparral. Pivots. 5% stabilizers. Oh yeah, another thing. If a unit in real life had no stabilizer, like a tank most notably, in game it would receive a 5% stabilizer. Just to simulate the fact that supposedly they would still be able to shoot on the move, just incredibly inaccurate. So that's why apparently also the pivots has a 5% stabilizer, and that's why even like T-34s had a 5% stabilizer. The SU-76s, which I'm pretty sure they just never fixed that and nobody realized it, but had medium optics back then already, still do. But I think they have like 15 RPM now. But like T-34s, SCRV 103s, they have 5% stabilizers. But I haven't really paying attention to what's actually happening in here. So Red got complete control over this, which is more or less basically the contested zone, whereas these two zones each are like the, how to put it, the zones that both sides get for free. 30 points, John Maho. MiG-25 cluster bomber. Also more or less the same, but I think these days, I think every cluster bomb got like 1 AP buff. But yeah, you can see it didn't really do much to this M1 IP. M24D, also no stabilizer on the missile. I'm pretty sure though, these S5 rockets these days do not have 30% accuracy. I think this is wrong. Pretty sure the S8 missiles, oh no, they have 2 HE. Weird. But just very inaccurate. SU-76 spam, just driving in there against a Sheridan. 4 HE, 7 RPM. Okay, who coming in to kill one of those SU-76s? Okay. I mean, it worked, but like, is it worth it? NZ-SAS, 25 points. Basically also more or less the same, at least the weaponry. Look at that low RPM on the M60. And the PKM. Unfortunately, we don't have Eurocore or West Germany. Actually, we have Scandinavia. Do we have any infantry with the MG3 on the field right now? It doesn't look like it. But there's probably coming in the NM113. Oh, this is mech. This is Scandi mech. Another thing that I forgot to mention. Unfortunately, you can't import deck codes. All these deck codes they just don't work anymore. And I tried downloading effectively an old game version via Steam, because you can tell your Steam client to download a specific patch of any game basically via the console. I don't really know what how to explain it properly. For most games, like when you can download earlier versions. I tried doing that with Wargame, but I just didn't get it to work. I think there's an issue with like the DLCs and whatnot. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I just didn't manage to work when I tried it like a year or so ago. Maybe I'll try again at some point. This is also basically unchanged by the looks of it, but I'm pretty sure all specs, and that probably includes the Type 80 spec, got like a significant suppression boost. Oh yes, yes, yes! Younghalde, the only sniper squad that had 85% accuracy on a sniper. Every other sniper squad had 95. For quite a long time too. Beacon 1A. Obviously 1C is not in the game anymore. It's not in the game yet at this point. It's getting pinged, those RBSs. BMP 1D. Still basically the same thing. Lots of unloaded units down here. Also links with only 4 HP. Scorpion 90s against SU 100s. That was a Nighthawk. The Nighthawk also had only 1 laser guided bomb with 40% accuracy and 28 HE. Poor Sheridan. I want to see the Pongay 2. Because the Pongay 2 used to have 10 HE, but it might have been only in the beta. What is this? Okay. For a second I thought those were the Hwasong-Chongs, the old Hwasong-Chongs. Which in the beta also had like 16 Strelas or 12 Strelas. It was crazy. Igla 1M, not 1N. 1M is basically what the Grom is these days. A Mistral stat copy, but 4 HE instead of 5. These days the Igla 1N has 1 step less range, but 5 HE. And it might have only a 55% accuracy. Okay, who gets out alive? I'm really hoping we'll get to see one of these ridiculously overpriced tanks. I don't mean this, because I was watching another replay yesterday where you could see the T80A, which is basically stat-wise the same thing as these days, except some accuracy stuff. And the T80A was just so incredibly overpriced, even compared to the other tanks that were in that game. I think it was like 140 points for like 18 AP, 16 front armor. That missile, which didn't have a stabilizer back then, as well as no medium optics. It's just incredibly horribly priced, even for those standards. What else do we have? Beacon 1A not even next to the fob. What are they firing at? Ah, I see. Still, basically that same ridiculous rate of fire. At least a very similar ridiculous rate of fire. This dude really brought 2 cards of tube artillery, huh? Holy moly. Seems like there's an assault happening on this side. With lots of MI8s. Again, they were actually pretty accurate. So even though... Oh, very smart firing positioning on this scout, but not hitting at all. MI9, which is the current MI8. Is it called like MI8R or something? Also SU-100s, 15 points. 3 front armor only. I don't know why. I really don't know why you would use that, even in a North Korean deck. Oh my god, was it like? Did I just see it correctly? With like one shot, it got all those 4 crits. Or am I blind and just didn't see that before? But yeah, it's not looking good for blue. Use on a veteran. Jurgen coming in. Seems like more or less unchanged. There we see a Hwasong Chongs. Probably already with... Oh no, 2, yeah, there we go! Oh no, never mind, I'm just bad. But yeah, 4 missiles, Strela of course, like they used to have before the red DLC. Or one of the red DLC patches. Sadly not with that 16 missile per individual Hwasong Chongs. Of course, 3 of them have 12. Getting pinged, this is getting pinged. Modest Reki, look at the RPG-7, only 525 meter range. Lots of recon here. That's a Jurgen. Still very much good at stunning. MBG-70, 70 points, heat, 10 RPM, not autoloaded. I don't know why you use that since it has HE. Like, heat I should say. M1A2. Still very similar to today. I think now it has just 5% more accuracy, only 9 RPM, but barely changed. Super M60 just loads better than the MBG-70. Like, sure, the MBG-70 has 4G and the autogun, but it's just not like now it's fine, but Napalm Starfighter, okay. That's a lot of helicopters. Are those the ones to bear back here? Oh yes, I think so. But resupplied apparently. I don't know why I didn't go to one of these fobs. First of all, there's 2, which are both unused. And second of all, they're closer. But okay. Or are they turned off? No, they're not. He himself apparently did not bring motor. There we go. Okay, look at the MG sets, right? Where do we still have one with M60? Do we have like NZ SAS anywhere? We don't. But I guess Modest Reki can make the same point. And the rate of fire seen here, even though it's technically again still just ammo consumption, it still gives you a decent picture of the rate of fire. So 234. The M60 used by the NZ SAS had like 198 or something. Let's look at Punch Scooter 350, not too bad. Now look at Falske Mega 474. The MG3 was just miles ahead of any other MG back in those days. Nice Starfighter, not even getting... Oh, the Pongay 2. There we go, 10 HE! Oh man, dude, that thing was fun as fuck. 10 it could one-shot any plane that didn't have 2 armor. because B5 was of course not in the game yet. It got added later on, and that and the finish, whatever it's called, only those two have more than 10 HP. And if you hit on, and of course 2 armor reduces damage, but if you hit those to the side to 1 armor, then you also one shot them. That is, oh dude, this is so fun, dude. This thing, of course, 80 points and only 45% accuracy. What, did you hear that sound? What is that? You just heard it, right? Like some clicking. Probably like some weird sound bug from a unit or something. These are MG sounds or battle rifle sounds when you're a bit zoomed out. Oh my god. What are those bombers? Yak 38Ms and F5. Just everything here got deleted. Oh my goodness. I mean, a lot of cheap shit got deleted. Look at all those planes coming. Oh yeah, MiG-29M used to have medium stealth. The more you know. 27M, also more or less unchanged. Although I think you could get 2 down by that if you wanted to. M1A2 still on basically full HP, so I'm surprised I didn't go for that thing. Nighthawk, oh, I couldn't show you the unit stats before it got killed. That's a lot of shit. Jurgen coming in, probably gonna stop the whole attack there. You just heard it again, right? Once. What is that shooting? What was that shooting? Was that an infantry squad? You must have heard it, right? Like a very thing, tick, tick, tick. The fuck was that? Again, I'm getting crazy here, dude. Okay, who's... It's a Tunguska. Killed by the Strela though. There's a Vigan. Missing both missiles. Fighting Falcon still more or less the same. Strela 3! Who uses Strela 3? Getting killed. There's so much AA here, dude. And all those planes are just getting denied. This is a dead Tunguska. Squirrel. Tracked Rapier. That's how it has more accuracy now, right? And it has only 5 HE and not 6. So much artillery on both sides. But it's just also mapped that this is just a... It's a relatively wide choke point, but still a choke point. Thunderbolt. Back then, the Thunderbolt was, I think, more or less considered not that great, just because... Oh, there it's dead. I think people didn't... Or most people at least, not everyone of course, there probably were some people who were like, oh, that's actually really good. But from what I remember, people didn't really play around air like they sometimes do these days. But then again, this is also a team match, right? And in team matches, it's much easier to deal with like, A10s and stuff, so it's not very... Also has 5 HP by the way, the Jabra. It's not a good... I forgot the word. Representation, that's the word of how it also behaves in 1 vs 1s and other team games. Like, how many players are here? We have Jack Spartan, Master of Cybertron, Command Fish, like all but 1 player are investing points here. Obviously not all the points, but... And then of course the 1 player who wasn't directly investing points still is supporting with the artillery, I believe. Because nobody else is pushing on the rest of the map. So you have like 4 players on what's not even... Like this part here is not even... I would not even consider a 1 vs 1 map. But even Mudfight is basically bigger. I don't know, for some reason there's 60 Bojungs, so I guess to stop anything that might just bum rush down the road. Any special... You just heard it again, was it? Oh, that's the mortar sound, right? Yes, the mortar sound. I remember there was some annoying sound bug. There we go. And again, with the mortar. Ah, dude, that sound was driving me crazy. I was like, where did that sound come from? At first, I thought this is like from somewhere else on my PC, and I was like, what program is making this garbage sound? Oh, it's going crazy, dude. Still nothing here. There's a VMF slamming around. I think the VMF killed. There was a helicopter here, right? A Recon, you know. Looks like the VMF might have killed that. Make 21S. I think it still exists, but not under that name. The BMP-1K is forced to move. That's 2 Eurogans firing, I believe. Or one was firing, the other one is reloading and it's about to fire soon. I think having the fob here would have been really beneficial in hindsight, because that could have mean that would mean resupplying. For one, resupplying your AA that if while sitting back here, and 2, you can move in and out without getting seen as easily, since there's still the forest here blocking line of sight here. Alright, how again, no stabilizer. 2 KUs, evacing. Sheridan got driven back to the fob. Did please tell me the French player bought a Crotal somewhere. At the VLRA Mistral, basically still the same price. AMX 30 Rona 3, also basically still the same. Only 5 HE though. Oh, I wanna see the Crotal, dude. I wanna see the Crotal. All the Milans had 5% less accuracy than I do now. Dude, I really gotta see if I can get the old, like an old version of older patch going. For one, because I would be really interested to just look at unit stats, but also ideally you could also try to host like private lobbies, but I don't know if that works either. But at least like look at old unit stats and such would be so cool, and even hop into skirmish to check some bugs out and whatnot. It would be so much fun, at least for a short while, and so interesting as well, right? Because like I said, I was pretty bad during those times. I was a complete noob, just like everyone who was watching. I'm just kidding, but you know, so looking back at those times with a completely different mindset in the SWU would be so interesting. So 180 points, it's still 180, yes. Still a sphere, but again, all those missiles didn't have a stabilizer yet on ground units. So every ground except maybe I don't think, but there was like the Ferret, the Anzac Ferret that for a while had stabilizers on those garbage SS11s, but no tank had like any kind of stabilizers on their missiles, so they could only fire while stationary. Red 4 tanks in general had abysmal accuracy compared to their blue 4 counterparts, right? Like this super heavy view had 50% accuracy, which was honestly pretty darn good for Red 4. Meanwhile, an M1A2 had 65. What does the Leclerc have? 65. These days, Red 4 for the most part still has less accuracy, but it's not that big of a difference anymore. Like 100 points T72B1, 45% accuracy. 55 points T72A, 35. Accuracy, especially on Red 4, was just so much lower. And of course, 7 RPM for like, it's just, I mean, it's still, even if it's like overpriced by 10, 15 or 20 points, it would still probably be worth bringing just for the armor, but still just compared to like an M1A2, just horrific. Like you lose 3 RPM and gain a stationary missile with 22 AP while you don't even have an autoloader yet. And significantly less accuracy. And you're dead. I don't know where they're flying. One of the hub's already empty, of course, because beacons being resupplied with a. Just drive back to the fob, dude. What are you doing? They've been sitting here for the whole game, haven't they? VMF are still not moving. Or maybe was this always there? I guess maybe it was, and they didn't actually kill it. Jurgen and Smirch? No, it was a cluster plane. Mirage 2000. Okay, Mirage is still basically the same. I think it's just 5 points more expensive, but they also have no ECM. This weirdest dragon is also basically like that in the game. Look at all those helicopters. Mi-24A, Space Mi-8s, dude. You know, 9 of which you see outside of like North Korea, because North Korea has no other Mi-8s. ASU for 10 points, 6 RPM. So yesterday I was watching a replay, also very old, where they had 8 RPM, I believe, for 10 points. Oh, but no, that was actually significantly... No, I was watching, that was a different replay. It was actually significantly newer, but still from like 2015 or something. 27 PU. Bongo 2, there it is again, the 10HE beast. Tunguska M. Spags significantly less effective at this time of the game's life cycle. And you can also see 5 HE on the missiles only, and between each missile it had to reload for like 3 seconds or something. So that was actually quite annoying and only got changed very, very late in the game's life cycle. TIDU, there it is. 40% accuracy for 170 points. Yes, okay, so I was watching a replay yesterday where there was also a TADUM. And a TADUM, unless maybe it was a slightly different patch, but I'm pretty sure it's the same one. TADUM, also this is armored, I just realized, unless you like heavily upvets it. TADUM, for 10 points more, had 3 more AP. And I think a better missile as well. Look at this, 170 points, 40% accuracy. Ugh. P4C just waiting here. As left out 2. Hold up before you die. Roughly the same. I think autocannon supposedly also got changed across the board to be more effective at some point, but I don't remember that. With which I don't mean I don't believe it. It's just probably happened relatively early on. That's just 4 stack of VLRA Mistrals. I guess I can understand against all those heroes, but you don't want them to be stanked. Which hopefully these days everyone knows. MX40, 100 points, 18, 12, 10 RPM. Scorpion 90 spams. I mean, what do you want to do as an Anzac player, right? And honestly, I genuinely don't remember if the AS1 Plus was there in the beginning. Is this guy maybe playing Airborne? I don't know. Mi-28. Yeah, very similar as well. Quite inaccurate rocket pods. Mi-24 VP had 8 Kokons, not 4, and was also more expensive. And the S8's also less accurate. Surprisingly enough, those 1 HE rocket pods are significantly more accurate than those high HE rocket pods, right? Look at those sounds. That's the sound that the Norlandsjägare have on their recoilless rifle these days, I believe. T90S. 160, honestly, for 160 points, wouldn't be too bad these days. Right? Compared it to a Moderna that has 1 more RPM, but 1 less rate of fire and an autocannon. Moderna probably is still a bit better, because especially with that accuracy these days, not so great, but you know, for like 155 points. Hold on, 155 points is an HC Abrams and a 240, right? Which has 22 AP and 20 front armor for 9 RPM. So let's say you trade 2 RPM for 2 front armor just for the sake of the argument. Then you're still ahead with 1 AP, but you have significantly less accuracy. And assuming this would get an autoloader, honestly, at 160 points and 155 points, very solid tank. So actually, with the hold up, and this means that the sphere alone on the T72BU, according to this patch, I don't know if Eugen thought that, or Eugen was like, okay, we know it's overpriced, we just patch it later or something. But during this patch, you would pay 20 points for, I think it was just 3 and not even 4 sphere missiles. The 22 AP, 2625 meter range. Like, of course, these days, those AHM missiles, for one reason, are already not that strong because, you know, with smoke micro and such. But even back in the day, I'm like very certain those missiles weren't particularly good. And also considered very inaccurate despite the 50% accuracy. So 20 points just to get that missile on a super heavy. Think about it. But yes, actually, like this stand-wise, I assume that back then the T90S, not the BU, the T90S was probably pretty good. But it would still hold up these days. No joke. M1A1, basically the same thing, just 20 points more expensive. There are the Eurogans again. The cargo's just not being close enough to the fog to resupply. All but one of those VLRA Mistrals are dead. Because the hordes of MI6s, dude. Don't see that very often. Don't see that very often these days either. So BB1 basically the same thing as an M1A2 M1 run, just same AP, same RPM, same range, but 45-20 when it comes to accuracy. And the M1A1 is dead. Is dead. Okay. Well, the M1A1 was 130.35, right? But I think it had 55% accuracy and maybe perfect stabs. Okay, look at all the CVs coming in. Oh yeah, the STRF-90 CV, of course, not a thing yet. Raven, I want to take a look. Seed missiles, very inaccurate. Time over target, only 60 seconds. Stealth, already good. ECM, already 60%. But look at that accuracy and look at that time over target. Let's see that thing in action. Or not. Got 1 damage. Oh yeah, that thing only did 1 damage, huh? Not some artillery fire here, but it's like, why? What are you doing here? It's way too late. You gotta. I think everything that you can do right now is just try to put a seam in there, but that's also too late. It just gives you a +1. IL-102 already had 2 armor all around, still 180 points. Hold up, those bombs had 17 HE. So did the Yak 38M. I didn't notice. Does it mean that Tornado Ideas also had 17 HE on the 500 kilogram bombs? If so, that would be crazy good. I mean, not crazy good, but pretty good at least. Maybe crazy good. But I don't remember them having 17 HE. One thing I remember is like one IL-102 killing a full HP 2 stack of Leopard 2A5s of mine. But man, 17 HE, that's actually really cool. Oh, dude, I really gotta get. I mean, I guess I can check with the armory tool, but that's not the same thing as actually checking in the in-game armory. What the stats of those units were. Raven again. Bongay 2 survives because the Raven misses. It's also only 135 points, in all fairness. Evac bingo and gets ripped by those rapiers. Really? They had range up there? That looked like less than 2,200 and more than 2,275 meter range. Sharon's with their Shylala, obviously missing. T62 and 150 points for a 6 RPM, 15 AP, 10 AP, 10 armor tank. Spetsnaz before they had their A as well. So many tracked rapiers, dude. So much AA. Another push, but it's just too little too late, I am afraid. My, what a throwback. Oh, and since one player seems to be playing armored, back then armored would only get 1 extra XP on their tanks, by the way, not 2 like today. It's 2 seagulls now in the last minute. Okay, well there you have it. I mean, Red 4 clearly won simply because They very easily got in one pointer at the top and then just played it defensively from there. Gray, I don't remember who that was, or that was the airborne player maybe. Didn't really do a whole lot. But yeah, there you have it. I'll see if I can maybe get an old version of Wargame running anytime soon via those Steam functions. Yeah, that would be really, really cool, but we'll see. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this. I tried to find a relatively old 1v1 replay from back then. Maybe I can get one. Would be really cool, because then we can actually get more into the strategies and not watch a chaotic 4v4. But I don't think there were a lot of 1v1s among those replays, but we'll see. In any case, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully see you next time.